The sequel's always better than the original, right? Welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. We are back. What is good, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and I want to thank you guys out there for joining me for another video here on the channel. We have a sequel, like I was saying before. It is another video of valuable era comics we're going to cover here today on the channel. But before we get started in that one, I want to remind you guys, if you're not a current sub of the channel, do yourself a favor, hit that sub button. We're giving away some awesome stuff once we get to 7,000 subs, and we are almost there. Of course, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're not following me on Twitter or on Instagram, click the links below. With that said, let's check out some of these errors. Let's start off this video talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and of course here we have a reprint of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4. The cover art seen in the image was intended for the reprint of Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1, but due to confusion on behalf of the printer, it was used for the reprint of TMNT number 4. The title and issue number were correctly printed on the wrong cover, therefore the entire print run of nearly 60,000 copies were recalled and destroyed, with approximately about 1,000 error copies remaining in circulation. Now in low grade, the Key Collector app says this book is worth about $75, in mid grade about $225, and in high grade all the way up at $750 for a reprint of this book. That is wild. You guys want to talk about wild? Check out this book. Here is a copy of New Teen Titans number 6, but the printing error is with DC Comics New Teen Titans number 6 cover wrapped around Marvel 2-in-1 number 74. Only 2 are known to exist, with one that was listed on eBay for $1.15 million. That is crazy. In 1981, both companies used Ronald's printing at the same time, and that is how this happened. In low grade, Key Collector app says this book is worth about $1, and in mid and high grade they have no sales. How about this book, guys? A DC book wrapped around a Marvel interior. This is some crazy shit I don't think we'll ever see again. Next up is a book a subscriber of the channel turned me onto. It is a copy of Detective Comics number 643 and the error edition with Mark Badger credited on the cover despite his art not being used. Its reprinted covers can be identified by a blank space in the place of his name. Value is unknown. There are no known sales in the past 2 years of sold data. Now, of course, Key Collector gives no information on this book, so I'm not sure how many exist, but regardless, that's pretty cool. They actually give credit to an artist who did no work on the book. Up next, how about we talk about some Jack Kirby goodness and a copy of Sandman number 1. Now, I know you guys probably are familiar with this book, but the usual cover is about a mid-blue background, but this one is in the color purple, and I have never seen this one before. The Key Collector app is saying in low grade this book is only worth about $5, in mid grade about $18, and in super high grade $60. I am shocked that this book is so invaluable, to be honest, because I've never seen a copy of this book out there and I did not know it exists. And when we have Jack Kirby goodness on one of these lists, you know it's got to be pretty popular. So to me, I would think this book was worth a little more. Speaking of value, check out this book. It is a copy of Malibu Sun number 13 and the first appearance of Spawn in actual print. Now, I know Spawn number 1 is his true first appearance in comics, but I know most of us are familiar with this book. Now, here we have a copy, an error edition with the green colored Spawn on the back of the cover. I'm going to throw it up on the screen so you guys can see it. This book is actually worth quite a bit of money. In low grade, this book is worth around $190 according to the Key Collector app. In mid grade, about $915, and in high grade, $2,800. But I know in a 9.8, it goes for a hell of a lot more than that. I've seen copies go upwards of almost $15,000 to $30,000 listed on eBay. I'm not saying they're worth that, but I know people out there know this book is rare. Let's head back to the late 90s, early 2000s to check out this book. Now, we all remember these 299 series that Marvel did back in the day, and here we have a copy of Doom 2099, number 1. But check out this printing error where it's missing the foil on the cover. There is actually no current sales data on this book, so I'm not even sure how Key Collector knows it actually exists. But regardless, here is a picture of this thing. Drop me in the comments down below if you've ever seen this book or even heard that there's an error variant for it. Let's check out our buddy Spidey and a copy of Web of Spider-Man number 100. Now, I think most of us are familiar with the regular copy of this book with all that green foil around it, but have you ever seen this one, the white issue that is actually missing the green foil on the cover? I think this one, in my opinion, is pretty well known. I know I actually knew about it beforehand, but have you guys out in the community seen this book before? There is actually little to no data on it, but Key Collector says in low grade this book is worth around $70, in mid grade around $280, and in high grade all the way up at $650. Do you know anyone who owns this book? If you do, drop me in the comments down below. Does anyone else find it weird that back in the 90s, there were so many errors that were occurring in books? I mean, they only printed about 1 million copies of all these books, so I guess it's not too bad. But either way, let's talk about one of them right here. It is a copy of Uncanny X-Men number 302, but the error variant with the blank UPC box at the bottom, and of course, missing the price tag. Now, I will say this, I did not know about this book, but I would say check your long boxes and your short boxes if you're my age and collected X-Men during that time, because you might not know about this one. Either way, the Key Collector app saying in low grade this book is worth around $15, in mid grade about $55, and in high grade all the way up at $160. So I'm not sure if I'm going to call this book an error, but either way, it is a copy of Tales to Astonish number 43 and a Silver Age book, and we don't get too many of those on these lists. Either way, this is the error cover with no price and no month printed on the cover of this book. And the value, according to Key Collector, is unknown. So we have no idea how many there are, and we have no mention of what this book is worth. So is it truly an error if there's like no data on it? It's like if a tree falls in the forest, did it make a sound? I'm not too sure. Let me know what you guys think of this one. This one I thought was pretty cool, but I would not be able to pick out this error edition for the life of me. This is a copy of Rogue number 1, but the error edition where the foil is misaligned on the title of the text. So the gold foil there you could see is not directly over the white portion where it says Rogue. Again, I think it looks pretty good just the way it is. I would not have noticed that it's actually an error comic. Regardless, Key Collector is saying this book in low grade is worth around $12, in mid grade around $40, and in high grade all the way up at $120. Pretty cool cover either way. You want to talk about awesome? Check out this book. It is a copy of Universe X Spidey number 1 with classic cover art by the great Alex Ross, the Dynamic Forces edition. This book was actually recalled due to the interior art by Al Milgrom insulting former editor-in-chief of Marvel, Bob Harris. How about that for an error comic? The Key Collector app states in low grade this book is worth $25, in mid grade about $100, and in high grade around $250. If anybody has pictures of the interior artwork which actually made fun of the editor-in-chief, I would love to see it, so drop me comments down below. On to some more 1990s goodness and foil nonsense. It is a copy of Secret Defenders number 1 and the error edition where the red foil is missing and replaced with a black background. There are actually only 2 copies that are known to exist, a 9.8 and a 9.6. In low grade, this book is worth around $50 according to the Key Collector app, in mid grade $150, and in high grade all the way up at $500. So I wonder how much a 9.8 is actually going for this book if we only know about 2 as it stands right now. Up next is another foil error. It is a copy of Venom Funeral Pyre number 1, the rare error edition where the cover was printed without the holographics foil. Now the raw values are estimated, but we did get an eBay sale on March 16th for a 9.6 graded copy, and it sold for $1,130, which is quite a large amount. In low grade, the Key Collector app is saying this book is worth around $75, in mid grade $275, and in high grade $800. Not too bad for another foil error Venom key. Up next is a book I think a lot of us know about if you've been collecting comics for a bit. It is a copy of Rye number 0, but the error variant that was printed without the black ink and is extremely rare. There was a sale on eBay in October of 2018 that sold for $1,146, but the Key Collector app thinks that you could buy one for around $100 in super low grade. I'm not too sure about that. In mid grade for $350, and in high grade, like we spoke of, $1,100. Let me know if you guys have heard about this, and if you've ever seen one before. I have, and I have definitely heard about it. And the last book we're going to talk about is this one here. It is a copy of Moon Knight number 25. Now, before I get into this book, the reason why they're calling this book an error, I'm not sure I agree with, but I want to hear your comments down below. What do you think? Is this an error book or just a misprint? Regardless, it is a copy of Moon Knight 25, like I was saying, the error edition with a white dot near the center of the cover. So because there is a white dot in the center of the book, we're calling that an error. I think this is one that is a little bit of a stretch. Regardless, Key Collector app is saying in low grade, this book is worth around $10, in mid grade around $30, and in high grade, it's going to cost you a cool $100. Man, oh man, those are a lot of errors. And I gotta tell you, there are so many more on the Key Collector app just to go through. A lot of them really aren't worth anything, but a few of them that I pointed out in the last video and in this one, some of them were worth quite a pretty penny, like that Spawn number 1 we talked about last time, and of course this Malibu Sun we talked about this time. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoy these set of videos, and who knows, maybe we'll do a trio. Maybe it'll be a third video in this series. It won't be for a while, I'll say that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.